Hello, this is Jess. 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is Jess on my sneaky. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hello, how are you going? Go team. Shanice Swain, was it?
Do I just say the same thing?
Yeah, just count normally.
Yeah. I did that just cut out a little bit.
Southside are through to their third grand final in 4 seasons. Reed swoops on the crown with massive basket.
3, you are kidding me.
And the fire burned brightest. Townsville are WNBL champions for the 4th time.
It's a top four blockbuster tonight at the Quaycentre with Sydney taking on Southside in a pre-final showdown between two great rivals of the Cygnett WNBL. Both sides come into tonight's clash on 3-game winning streaks as the race towards the postseason heats up. Southside has the recent form against the Flames, especially in Sydney, having won their last 4 at this venue. But the Flames are set to unleash boom recruit Shanice Swain tonight in her long-awaited club debut, adding further intrigue to this much-anticipated contest. Jess Webster with you alongside Victoria Country Women's high-performance coach Zoe Carr. Zoe, great to have you here, and we have a real treat for us tonight.
Yeah, it is a big game in terms of the context of how finals are going to start to shape up. Both teams will be really keen to get a win on the board here and get as many as they can before the FIBA window comes up. So, you know, it's massive. If the Sydney Flames win this game, that will put them a game clear in 4th position from the Perth Lynx, who have been in a little bit of a rut in the last couple of games. So gives them a little bit of breathing room. But if in the same breath, Southside Flyers will then drop to 3rd and the Melbourne Boomers will move to 2nd. So it is such an important game in terms of how the finals are going to shape up.
Absolutely, so much on the line tonight. We'll take a look at the ladder at the moment just to see how close things are. But first, of course, let's talk about Shanice Swain. So great to see her out there making her club debut for Sydney. Of course, the Opals guard. She's been out with a stress fracture in her foot and, of course, taken at pick number 14 in last year's WNBA draft by the LA Sparks, and came across to Sydney after a stint with Canberra. 21-year-old, born and raised in Cairns, been playing basketball since she was 5 years age, but she's such a special talent, and Sydney will be absolutely thrilled to have her out there tonight.
Absolutely. Lightning speed, huge scoring punch, which you'd probably think it, averaging nearly 73 points a game, that Sydney probably don't need, but you always want more scoring punch if you can get it. A really talented Australian junior representative as well, so it's great to see her back on the floor. Injuries are always quite devastating for young athletes, so I'm sure there are a few nerves, but once she gets up and down a couple of times, she'll be fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Rehab can be a lonely place, but great to see Shanice Swain out there tonight. Last time these two sides met, it was a thrilling game. We would expect no less between these two sides. Just 6 points of difference in the end, and what was Bet Cole's milestone game as well. But if we get another quality contest like this tonight, we'll be pretty happy indeed, Zoe.
Yeah, and pretty exhausted. I remember watching this game from my couch, and it was insane. The firepower from both teams here is going to be on show. Both class outfits with multitude of experience. So it's going to be who can shut down the opposition the quickest. Both teams will go on massive scoring runs if you let them, so you must defend and take care of the paint.
So this is the ladder, and this is just how close it is. As you mentioned, so much on the line. If Sydney can win, they go a game clear in 4th, but all places kind of in that top 5 really can change in the next few weeks. What a run we have towards the final series. But as you can see, Southside in 2nd, Sydney in 4th. Lots to play for tonight. Can't wait.
Absolutely. It's a real log jam in that top 5, and it's anyone's game. So every win is so important now.
So let's take a look at Sydney's starting 5. This is who they have to play with tonight, of course, led by Tess Madgen and Shanice Swain playing off the bench tonight, but their depth runs pretty deep at the moment. I mean, this is a side that made so many changes to their roster in the off-season and brought in a lot of guns. And now that they're starting to kind of see that gel, and then also for the Flyers starting 5, I mean, talk about depth. There's just so much to look for. So many stars across the court tonight. How lucky are we?
Exactly. It's everywhere you turn. There is talent, there is experience, there's WNBA, there's WNBL, there's EuroLeague, you name it, it's here in this game. So it's going to be a really exciting contest.
So a blockbuster awaits us tonight, and this week is also the WNBL's Fighting Period Poverty Round in Australia. An astounding 1 in 5 women will have to improvise on period products. This is not okay, and you can help make a difference today by purchasing a pair of bloody good socks from Share the Dignity. Do your part in helping to fight period poverty today. So a really important round for our WNBL competition, and great to see them get behind this great causes. We're underway here at the Quaycentre. A huge top 4 battle tonight between the Flames and the Flyers, and it will be the Flames with their first possession to get us underway here tonight. So much to look forward to as Nicholson makes a move. Can't find the finish. Mitchell down the other end for Southside. And that's a great way to get us off to a good start.
Mitchell has been outstanding since stepping into the starting lineup. She's, her points average has gone up and her impact has been huge. So if she can continue that, that's going to go a long way for Southside getting the win tonight.
Richards responds at the other end. And of course, Leilani Mitchell reached 2,500 career points last week in her Player of the Game performance. That's an astounding number, 2,500 points. Incredible. Roche looks inside for Jackson. Can't get it to go, but gets another opportunity. Also comes up short. Richards with the rebound for the Flames. What are some of the key matchups you're looking forward to tonight, Zoe?
I think the Richards-Jackson matchup is going to be massive. It's they're two very different players. Richards likes to play off the bounce and look to attack off the dribble, whereas LJ, as we've seen in so many times before, loves, and we just saw in that previous possession, loves to fight in the paint and look to get close to the rim and obviously stroke the three. So I think that's going to be a massive matchup, and whichever team can exploit that matchup the most, because they are so different, will be the one that can try and break this game open early.
Nicholson finds Russell inside, but can't get it to go. Kayla George pulls it in and keep it alive. A chance for Magin in the corner. And we have started with a bang tonight.
Such a good example of how transition basketball and transition threes have become the trend in basketball, particularly in Australia as well. So, kicking the ball ahead, spotting up in that corner three rather than running inside to the paint and just catch and shoot and textbook test Magin.
Here's Roche, wants to get in on the action. Comes up short on this occasion, but if this is a taste of what's to come tonight between these two sides, we're going to have a fun one. A couple of big triples at either end to get us underway. 2 minutes into this first quarter. Bradley to Richards, to Magin. Assessing her options, back to Bradley. To Kayla George. Magin trying to get around a couple. To George, shot clock ticking down. They'll have to manufacture something, and they do just that as Bradley finds her way to the rim.
Great job by Bradley there. Mitchell stunted on that pick and pop from Kayla George, which you have to because we know how she can shoot the three. So she committed to that. That back cut, that decision to back cut was excellent.
And then Cole fires down the other end.
We're not going to have time to talk about actions here because it's going to be back and forward.
Already out of breath. What a start this has been. Plenty on the line tonight for these two sides. A pre-final showdown. Two great rivals as well. Russell applying the pressure. Roche just had a bit of a fumble. Richards comes up with it. Gives it off to Magin. Sweeping pass to George. Just couldn't make it count.
And smart from Mitchell here just to slow it down. It sort of went back and forth in a bit of a foot race, slows it down, then turns on the jets and tries to get to the rim.
Fast break down the other end for the Flames. Richards again.
And that's, as we spoke about before, like playing off the bounce. That's where she can look to try and exploit the bigs of Southside and try and get out on the rim or get out in transition early.
High-octane stuff to kick us off tonight. Thursday night hoops at the Quaycentre. Fourth against second. As we see replay of the foul here. What do we think, Zoe?
I think it's a little bit unlucky. I think Jackson may have given her a little nudge, but that's veteran as well. You don't learn that stuff without having played all over the world.
Here's Richards for the Flames. Off to Kayla George. He loves these kinds of moments too. Everything on the line. Magin. Wonderful step. Just couldn't get it to go, but they'll get the call.
great example of just change of pace. You know, attacking the rim quick, spinning slowly, and then stepping through quick. That's how you get somebody to bite on a shot fake.
See a great finish from Nicholson, a long range too. And we're heading to a timeout. So a good start here to the Flames, 11-5 over the Flyers. And this timeout is brought to you by Cygnett. Cygnett are long-term supporters of Share the Dignity and committed to helping end period poverty. They're donating $1 from every product sold on their website from now until the 31st of January. So make sure you head to cygnett.com to help make a difference. So we can now have a chance to take a breath, Zoe, and get some thoughts from you on this high-octane start to this contest.
Yeah, it has definitely been a bit of a foot race to start, and this is how both teams like to play. They like to play fast and try and exploit poor defensive transitions. So we're going to see a lot of that throughout the game. The team that, you know, understands the balance between pace and poise will be the team that, again, can break that game open a little bit more, because you can't be constantly in that foot race, because as we've seen already, there's a little bit of fatigue that's started to set in. So if they can slow it down every now and again and look to execute, create mismatches, and then find those mismatches and exploit them, then they'll be able to get some higher percentage shots and probably see more go through the net.
And Sydney pretty deadly when they get a roll on this season. When they score 75 points or more, they're 7-1 this season. So back underway. 5.5 to play in this first quarter. Mitchell making a move. Off the window, it's no good, but they'll get it back. Intelligent tap from Jackson to Rocci. Jackson will get it back, and they'll share it around the arc. Cole inside to Russell, uses the body, and adds a couple.
So tough. Great help from Lauren Nicholson there of split line, but then once...
George responds at the other end.
Finish it. Just insane, just both ends of the floor. Just great execution, as we mentioned before. Just being able to get through their offense, pick and roll play, being able to find open players and get high percentage shots.
This is what we love, is two teams and players rising to the occasion. Richards with the move on George. Flames ball. Bradley takes it down the floor to Magin. To Bradley, and through the hands of George. Finds Richards, gives it to George to finish offline. Flyers mop it up. Mitchell shares it with Jackson. Cole, Magin applying the pressure. Cole finds her way through. Excellent finish.
It's tough, and I know it's said a lot when speaking about Beck Cole, but the addition to 3x3 to her game and what it's done for her has been huge.
Nicholson in the corner knocks one down. 7 points the way of the Flames. Rocci with the spin move. Beautiful. Seen a bit of everything so far tonight. Only 7 minutes in. Richards pulls up for 2.
And as you can see, so the threat, Richards has taken both Jackson and Russell off the bounce so far, drawn them outside of the key and then attacked them. So now Jackson sits back into the key to stop that, and she just pulls up. So now she becomes really tough to guard as she starts to explore both of those options.
Magin sets the feet for 3. Wobbles out. So for it, Rocci comes up with it. Goes herself at the other end. Get it to go. Kayla George with a rebound. You see a bit of that tonight, you would think. Nicholson gets it done.
The The impact Lauren Nicholson has on games is just incredible. You know, obviously we know what she can do from a scoring perspective, but she has the defensive matchup every week, and the way she impacts on both ends, being able to score and lock down defensively, that's really difficult.
She works the baseline. Couldn't get it done. Russell also can't find the bottom of the net. Great defense from the Flames, who've started well. 9 points to the good. Nicholson pulls up for 3. Not on this occasion. They get it aboard. Kayla to Richards. Wonderful work.
Beautiful basketball. Finding the open player, cutting hard on the rim on the post feed. Just what all coaches want. Even if they don't draw it up, that's what they want to see.
We expected a good contest tonight, but Zoe, do we expect it to be this good this early?
Not this early. I thought it'd be a little bit of a slower start.
Mitchell pulls the trigger. What a start we've had. Richards has a fumble. Somehow keeps it alive for Nicholson to finish it off.
It'll be interesting to see if either teams go to their bench here. Neither team has subbed yet. So, you know, in the last minute 18 of this quarter, if there's a chance, you can see some Southside subs waiting to come in. So I dare say in the next stop, they'll be looking to get some fresh legs in.
Lauren Jackson gets her first points of the night. Final minute here of what has been a ripping game of basketball so far as Kayla George gets in on the act. Mitchell assessing her options. Final minute of play here. Long range 2 is no good. Flames ball.
And this is where we see the advantage of Southside now with their depth. You know, when you start to go to benches and see, you know, just how deep they run and what impact that'll have on the game.
From the corner, Emma Clark knocks one down. Straight off the bench and into the action. Goodness me. This has been some fun basketball to watch, and fast. As Dickey comes on to the floor, gets her first points for Southside.
An underrated skill, being able to catch that in the air off the rebound and finish before hitting the floor. And it's not something that is often what young girls do. So any of them out there watching, that's something you want to try and put in your toolbox.
What an outstanding first quarter of basketball we have seen. The Flames 29-16 at quarter time at the Quaycentre. Don't go anywhere. This is a fun game of hoops. We're going to take a short break and be back with second quarter action next.
Use that momentum and power you've created to explode out on your first dribble. Okay, we've got 2 more. 1.
Sometimes as women, we look for perfection as opposed to execution.
The work ethic is important when the players are 40 years younger than you.
Cheers.
Welcome back to the Quaycentre at quarter time. It is Sydney by 11 over Southside. And earlier today, the Sydney Flames announced that their final home game of the season against Southside will be a tribute game towards Lauren Jackson for her contribution to New South Wales basketball. The game will be moved from the Quaycentre to Kudos Bank Arena and take place at a new time of 2:45 p.m. Now, this is important. The Flames are aiming to break the WNBL's largest crowd record of 7,681 from last year's game at John Cain Arena. So if you want to be part of history, tickets will be available to the general public from 12 p.m. on Wednesday via Ticketek. Tickets will start from just $10 with family tickets costing $25. So we hope to see you there as we get underway in the second quarter. And Zoe Carr, it was an incredible first quarter of basketball we saw, and Sydney shot out of the blocks, 11 points to the good at quarter time, but we've seen some pretty basketball already.
Sure have, especially from the Flames. Oh.
We cannot, there's no pauses.
But they're already on 9 assists in the first quarter, so as you can tell, they're moving the ball, they're finding open players, and getting high percentage shots. And when you do that, you're going to be able to put yourself in the best position to win basketball games.
Bradley's first three-pointer of the night. Dickey responds at the other end. And here we go again. Flame sharing around the perimeter. Clark makes a move, but it's going to be an offensive foul.
Before the shot. Foul is
So Nicholson, 9 points in that first quarter of the Flames. Richards with 8. They're the key scorers for the Flames, and for the Flyers have shed it around a bit. So Mitchell with 5, Cole with 4, and Jackson as well with 3. So a little bit of everything from both teams.
And the Flyers just go into a 2-3 zone off that sideline out of bounds.
Bradley couldn't make it count on that occasion.
Possession goes to the Flyers.
Flyers ball. So it's pretty free-flowing stuff. If you're the Flyers, do you want to slow it down, or you try and match fire with fire?
At the moment, they just need good scores.
Flames with flames, should I say.
Yeah, they just need good scores. So whatever it takes, I think they need to continue to try and put heat on the rim early on transition. But if they get nothing out of it, what they're doing now, working the ball around, sticking threes, and just finding high percentage shots. They've still got plenty of time in the game. But it's interesting that neither team has been to the foul line yet. So a mark of good D, but also maybe not getting feet in the paint as often as they would have liked.
So Ernst, a couple of moments ago into the action of following the script. Training a three-pointer. Here she is again. Off to Mitchell, top of the arc. Can't get it to go. And it'll remain a Southside ball.
And I like that from Kayla George. If you can't come up with the board yourself, just bash it out of bounds. Never allow a team an offensive rebound.
And here comes Shanice Swain onto the floor for the first time in her club debut for Sydney. So great to see her back in women's basketball immediately. Just applying a bit of pressure there. Rochi puts it up as the shot clock ticks down. Some good D from Sydney. Bradley over the head of George, but it stays in play. We'll get it back. To Richards, through to Magin. Broken up by Russell. And a chance for Swain to pounce. Gives it off to George in the corner!
And such a good way, whilst a great shot from Kayla George and what we've seen from her for so many years, but a great way for Swain to get herself into the game, gets a deflection on the first possession, then gets feet in the paint and finds the open Kayla George. Just a great way to start and maybe tackle a few nerves.
Certainly will be some nerves. Has been out with a stress fracture in her foot for a while. Certainly a long-awaited club debut. Making your presence felt.
Mercedes Russell to the line, shooting 2.
She is Shanice Swain. She's a wonderfully talented basketballer, 21 years of age. I think no matter what tonight, no matter what she scores, what she does, it's just great to see her back.
Absolutely, and you never want to see any players out with injury, especially young players that are, about to set off on their journey. So great to see her back, and yeah, hopefully she has the game to sort of settle herself in. Hopefully she has a game where she just lights it up.
Well, everyone seems to be kind of getting in on the action tonight. We've seen plenty of highlights, and that's another one. Welcome back, Shanice Swain.
Massive from her. It's so exciting to see that, and a really good lesson too for young juniors on how to approach coming back from injury. She's obviously rehabbed well. She's waited until she was 100% ready to get back so she can have this impact.
What was her first shot? What are we seeing tonight from everyone? We've seen some incredible shots. A great game of basketball so far, and Shanice Swain sees a bit of contact off the ball. Nicholson, long range two, makes it count.
And here she goes getting the steal as well. One of the things I love about Loz Nicholson's game is her mid-range game. Here she goes again.
Oh, this time she's offline, Swain.
But there has been a bit of conjecture about the mid-range pull-up jump shot and how it should be taken out and you shouldn't look to get them. But Loz Nicholson is showing that it is very effective against particularly a drops coverage.
This time she goes for three. Can't get it to go. Rochi pulls it in for the Flyers. So this lead now becoming a bit of a concern for Southside. It's out to 14 points. Been a great game of basketball to watch, but I wouldn't want this lead to blow out too much further. Jackson working on Richards. Has she given away the foul? Or does she get it?
Basketball count for Lauren Jackson. The foul is on Dee Richards.
Foul is against Richards.
Her second.
Again, another veteran move there from Jackson, being able to hook or get Richards to hook under her arm and then hold onto it so the referee can see it. Just savvy, smart, and then being able to step back and finish that as well is just incredible.
Yeah, she certainly has all the moves, does Lauren Jackson. We're heading to a timeout, 5:22 on the clock. The Flames up by 12 points, and this timeout is brought to you by CTM Sport. CTM Sport is here to transform your team's travel experience. Leave the hassle of off-court arrangements to CTM Sport, the experts in sports travel management. Get the winning edge at ctmsport.com.au. Jess Webster and Zoe Carr with you. Zoe, if you are in the Flyers camp at the moment, what are some of the messages you think are being said?
I think we've got to try and get a pointed look offensively. So rather than just sort of moving the ball and seeing what comes, I think they need to get the ball inside, either to Jackson or Russell if she's on the floor, or Ernst, obviously, if she's on the floor, and look to just try and get high percentage. Again, try and get themselves to the line. Neither team's been to the line enough for this point of the game. So put pressure on there, try and get high percentage, and then defensively, they're going to have to really lock in, whether it's they switch all like-for-like screens to try and negate some of the actions that the Flames are throwing, I guess, if you want it for a pun, but getting so that there's absolutely nobody uncontested at any time. There's just too many uncontested shots. So if they can manage that and try and lock that down, if any team can bring this margin back, it is the Flyers.
So that was the second time the Flyers have found themselves at the line tonight. Sydney haven't been there at all.
Kick ball, resetting the shot clock. 54.
So just over 5 minutes to go in this first half. It's been a cracking contest so far. Flames with a handy lead of 12 points. And down their end is Madgen. Fires for three! This is unbelievable shooting!
And I think that's one of the risks you run by being in a zone, a 2-3 zone, when teams are shooting so well. You know, it does leave players uncontested. It does protect the paint, but it leaves people open on the perimeter to shoot, and the Flames are shooting the ball so well.
Well, they're 7 from 12 from three-point range. It's been pretty impressive, and they've had 5 players with a triple already. So sharing it around, devastating effect. Swain to inbound for the Flames. To Richards, who swings it across to Madgen. Now Nicholson assessing her options. Back to Madgen. Has Cole to contend with. Shot clock ticking down. What's Tess Madgen going to do? Decides to go herself from downtown.
And Flyers back in a matchup there, so they had more coverage across the board.
Fast transition. Cole pulls the trigger on the 3, can't get it to go. They win the O board as Dickey puts the shot up. It's no good. Madgen with the rebound. Off to Nicholson. Started really well tonight. To McSpadden. Off the rim. Rochi cleans it up for Southside. Now to Jackson. This is where they've got to make their opportunity count. To Cole, to Jackson. Draws the contact. Knows how to do it.
McSpadden is one of those players, though, that I think's had a really good season, especially like a bit of a breakout season for her. And her impact that she's having, being able to come on and give Kayla George some minutes to be able to have a bit of a rest, and then it makes then Kayla George more impactful throughout the course of the entire game. So, yeah, I think Lara McSpadden has just been outstanding this season in her role.
A return to Sydney, seeking more game time, and as you mentioned, playing a really important role as Lauren Jackson heads to the line and makes the shot count. 13 points the difference here. It was Sydney by 11 at quarter time. Bradley. Looking for an option, goes to George, whistle on play. And there's been a foul called.
And a good look there, a 3-way switch, so you can see there, Jackson switches onto the ball. Bet Cole would have been on Kayla George there, but instead Mercedes Russell comes along and catches Kayla George on the dive, and Cole goes to the corner. A really effective way to guard an on-ball screen.
George feeds Nicholson. Pretty move. Points continue to flow for Nicholson and the Flames. 15 points to the good. Flyers need some magic at their end of the floor. Cole wins it back to Jackson. Pulls the trigger. And we'll have another foul.
Flames foul, number 1, Laws Nicholson.
Against Lauren Nicholson.
First.
Let's take another look.
Fire up, Flames fans. Make a stand right here. Defense.
Mitchell off to Cole. Trying to find some room. Does so. And that's an important basket for the Flyers.
It's a great job flipping that screen, coming off it and then flipping the screen and coming back off it again. It's really hard to get over a screen twice, as you saw there. Tess Madgen got over the first, but then ended up having to get under the second, and you just can't leave Bet Cole open from the perimeter.
Georgia's 3 attempt is no good, but they win it back. This time Madgen in the corner. Yes! Eighth three-pointer for Sydney tonight from 14 attempts. Keep that up, it's going to be a pretty big score. 2 minutes to go in the first half. Dickey in the corner. No good. Good hustle shown by Cole. To win it back, now needs some help. Off to Mitchell. Now to Jackson. And gets the finish from long range.
And you give especially quality teams like the Southside Flyers 2-3 opportunities, they're going to score. So the Flames need to make sure, if they want to not only keep this lead, but extend it, that they hold Southside to 1 shot per possession max. Because, as you see there, they work the ball around eventually, and players like Lauren Jackson are going to stick shots.
Plenty of quality in their lineup. Indeed. Bradley from downtown. It's off target. And it's gone out of play, so off. Southside will remain a Sydney ball.
And Southside back in the 2-3 zone again on that possession.
Time out here at Quaycentre. Your scores, the Southside Flyers 35.
And we're heading to another timeout. 1 minute 18 on the clock. Flames 48-35, 13-point lead. And this timeout is brought to you by Ford Aussie Hoops, which is the perfect introduction to the world of basketball for kids aged 5 to 10 years. To find out more, visit aussiehoops.basketball to register. Jess Webster and Zoe Carr with you tonight. Great game of basketball in front of us. Zoe, what have you picked up on so far?
Well, the Flames, we've spoken about the way they're obviously shooting the ball. And it is easier to shoot the ball at a high percentage when they're uncontested. And that's what they're doing. They're finding each other wide open, particularly from the perimeter. But they already have 15 assists for the game, and we're not even at half-time. So that's going to go a long way to winning basketball games if you're moving and sharing the ball like that, especially when your turnover count is only 2. So they're taking care of the ball and they're sharing it well. So that's a big reason as to why they've got the lead to where they have. But the Flyers aren't in any sort of trouble. They can come back and they can get this, eventually run over and take this lead. It's just going to take a lot of defensive perseverance. I really liked when they went to the 3-way switch on the on-ball screen. I thought that was very effective. And then obviously offensively, look to execute and find their shooters, be a little more pointed in offense.
Nicholson, a bit of a fumble, but does regain possession, but that is an offensive foul against George.
Offensive foul. Number 13, Kayla George.
So here's a chance for the Flyers.
Her first.
The first foul of the night. George. Final minute of play here in the second. Flyers love some magic just to head into halftime. Bit of confidence as Jackson off the window. No good. George brings it down. They've got to make their opportunities at their offensive end tonight, given how well Sydney are doing up the other end. Magin finds George. Back to Magin. Now to George. Mid-range 2.
And Kayla George separating out of that screen at a lightning pace. She barely even set the screen, really, and was out of it because Southside looked to show on that, so she got out of there quickly. And as we know, Kayla George has outstanding range.
They get a stop at the other end. Sydney's season high is 87 points over Perth in round 11. They put 50 on the board in the first half. An outstanding performance so far. Last play of the first half goes to Dee Richards and 1! That has got the home crowd up on their feet. They are loving what they are seeing from this Flames outfit.
And Richards taking the ball off the bounce, attacking the Southside bigs from the perimeter, using her athleticism, speed, and length.
And completes the play to end what has been a magnificent first half of Cygnett WNBL basketball. It is the Flames 53-35 over the Flyers. It has been entertaining from the word go. Brilliant from both teams. But it is the Flames with a really handy advantage at halftime. Zoe Carr, what have you liked? I think I'm about to say that the better question is what haven't you liked as we look at the halftime highlights. So this could well be a highlights reel of 2 or 3 games.
Absolutely.
We've crammed it into a half because there's been some wonderful shooting. What a fun game of basketball.
Absolutely. And look, normally you'd look at sort of 35 points in a half and you'd think, yeah, it's okay. It's not too bad. The problem is the 53 at the other end. So Southside do need to make some adjustments defensively and really start to look to disrupt Sydney. Sydney are moving the ball and finding open players, as you can see here, and right where they want it every time, and that's why they're shooting at such an amazing clip. So the Flyers are going to have to maybe start taking some risks, start looking to maybe trap a post catch or get into a press for a little bit or switch everything or look to just be that little bit disruptive for a little bit just to slow Sydney down and then look to capitalise at the other end.
So some great basketball in this first half. Flames 53 leading the Flyers 35 as we take you to our halftime break. Of course, this is the WNBL's Fighting Period Poverty round. And as we take you to the break, earlier we caught up with several players in the competition to find out what this round means to them.
The importance of period poverty can't be underplayed.
The fact we get to raise awareness for it and support women in need. We get to supply people with the period products and sanitary items that they need and sometimes go without.
Share the Dignity do a great job of trying to make that accessible for all females.
To be able to raise awareness for something that affects so many women in Australia, I think it's just so fitting for our league.
Fighting Period Poverty is sponsored by Foodie.
You can help by purchasing your bloody good socks today.
Women are powering forward and changing the game on and off the court. Together, Basketball Australia and the Australian Sports Commission are powering women in basketball. We are amplifying the voices, skills and spirit of women in the game. From the backboards to the boardrooms, we're breaking barriers, shattering stereotypes and empowering the next generation of female athletes and leaders. Get involved and together we can create a future where every girl's hoop dreams are within reach.
It's a game of strategy, nerve and unpredictability.
Tom Woodbridge pushes Australia's most addictive game show. Over the edge.
One counter for a shot at $40,000.
The more you risk.
2 counters, $20,000. I'll also throw in a holiday.
The more you win.
If you don't get that jackpot, you'll leave here with nothing.
New Tipping Point Australia starts Monday, Jan 29 on 9.
Ford dealers have backed sport in communities for nearly 100 years. And now, from the Boomers and Opals to Aussie Hoops, your local Ford dealer is proud to support basketball. Because all dreams start somewhere.
Probably more from 15 when I was like, I want to do this as a career. You know, I knew I would give my blood, sweat and tears and I'm very driven. So I'm like, you're not surprised I got here, but also I worked hard and believed in myself. But most of all, just like the friendships I've built along the way, that's something that's, to be honest, that almost takes over everything else. I think when people talk about your 250th, initially I'm like, I played 249 games and I played 251, like, what's a big deal? And it's almost like I genuinely thought back to our interview that we did. It was like, you got to sit back and smell the roses. And I was like, you know, there was a time in my early 20s where I thought I was never going to play basketball again because surgeons were telling me, you know, this and that with my knee. And then you think about all the highs and lows and the good times and the bad times, and the fact I've been able to play at this level for so long. Like, it is a real big achievement. But to be honest, if I get a win tonight with my team, that's all I care about.
Hi, I'm Amy.
And I'm Annalou.
And we're here with Lachlan and Zara from Ford Aussie Hoops. Let's go have some fun.
Yeah.
What was your favourite sport when you were younger?
Basketball, obviously. Do you play other sports too?
No, just
You're a hooper. What's your favourite subject at school, guys?
math, PE.
Oh, math.
Math and PE.
What's 2 plus 2?
4.
What's 2 times 2?
4.
There we go.
I don't want to stop.
Do you believe in magic? Did you know that I'm magic?
Oh, here we go.
Yeah. I can do many magic tricks.
What's your favourite thing about basketball?
Friends.
Do you get fouled out a lot?
I do.
Yes. She also gets a lot of tech fouls.
I don't get tech fouls.
I thought you were going to say the fun.
Yeah,
the fun and the friends.
But the friends make it fun. The people you do it with make it fun.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's go shoot some hoops. Come on.
For centuries, supernatural creatures have lived among us.
There are vampires, werewolves, doppelgangers, witches,
And even hybrids.
Go! There are friends.
Our enemies.
The ones we love.
And the ones we've lost. A lot of blood, a lot of partying.
But if you're gonna die, it might as well be epic.
Sink your teeth into the drama. Drink. The Vampire Diaries.
Here we go.
Stream every episode on 9 now.
You overheated the generator.
Nice nightgown. Oh, wait.
Well, that smile might make all the girls at the church social swoon, but it's not going to work on me.
Well, I'm not gonna be polite. I'm not gonna show you where a fuse box is. Night.
This Manhattan Doctor's life is going south. Stream all episodes of Heart of Dixie on 9 now.
I've got a staff meeting to go to, and so do you, you elitist Harvard fascist, missed the dean's list 2 semesters in a row, Yankee jackass.
Stream The West Wing.
Feel better getting that off your chest there, CJ?
I'm a whole new woman.
On 9 now.
Women are powering forward and changing the game on and off the court. Together, Basketbol Australia and the Australian Sports Commission are powering women in basketball. We are amplifying the voices, skills and spirit of women in the game. From the backboards to the boardrooms, we're breaking barriers, shattering stereotypes and empowering the next generation of female athletes and leaders. Get involved and together we can create a future where every girl's hoop dreams are within reach.
We've now distributed 4.5 million period products, and this year it's our goal to get to 5 million. These 300 bags that you're putting together will go towards our 1 millionth bag that we've been able to distribute in the last 9 years.
We're the only professional sporting league in the country that does a round aimed at fighting period poverty. Again, we're very, very proud of that. I think there should be more doing it.
3, 2, 1, let's go!
I think it's very important overall just to help those who are in need and who really need help and who really need these items.
Just to be able to pack some bags and, make sure other people still have the opportunity to have their dignity and continue about their day. I just think it's great and glad to be a part of it.
Fighting
An amazing cause it is, the Share the Dignity, aiming to end period poverty for good. And don't forget, you can also play your part by purchasing a pair of bloody good socks from Share the Dignity, and also Cygnett are donating $1 from every product sold on their website from now until the end of January as well. So a fantastic initiative by the WNBL. And wonderful scenes here at halftime at the Quaycentre. The Sydney Flames are celebrating its proud history tonight by honouring the club's first ever WNBL championship. So some of the players from that 1993 Flames team in attendance today, and they will bring out the squad onto the court at half-time, which sees the Flames 18 points to the good over the Flyers. Jess Webster and Zoe Carr with you. High-octane basketball in that first half, and the Flames, this current version of the Flames, are certainly playing like a championship team at the moment.
Absolutely. You look at some of the players from that 92-93 team of, Trish Fell and Shelley Gorman, Annie LaFleur, Robin Marr, Karen Dalton, and more. And you just think these players here are emulating everything that team showed in that season. So it's been so impressive to see how they've approached this game. It will be interesting to see if they are able to continue their shooting percentage for the second half. Generally, as a general rule, shooting percentages go down in the second half. So if they can keep it up, I shudder to think what score they're going to put on the board.
Immediately to kick off the second half, Lauren Jackson gets in on the action. And just pegs back this margin ever so slightly. It was the Flames by 11 at quarter time, 18 at half time. Here's Nicholson for Sydney to Bradley in the corner, fires for three, and another one drops.
I feel like she was just shooting percentage going down. What are you talking about? Like, just catch and shoot. But that is, again, we've seen that from Bradley all season. You cannot allow her to be that uncontested from the three-point line. So you cannot overhelp on any strong side penetration.
Anything Southside do, Sydney say we can do better. Jackson adds a couple more. But it's at the defensive end that they really kind of need a lift at the moment. Richards draws the contact.
What an incredible finish. To bring the ball down the floor, take that hit, and then still be able to finish over the top. That is tough and so skillful. Now, can she go to the line and make it a three-point play?
To the line, shooting one.
She certainly does. Completes the three-point play. Takes the tally to 14 points, which is above her average this season. As she goes to ground. No call from the referee. Home fans didn't like it. Rochi working on Bradley. She gets the foul.
Paige Bradley with that foul.
This is the little encounter between Jackson and Richards.
And a flop warning there on Richards as well. So they'll need to, the whole Flames unit will need to be careful now when trying to, defend and also pick up some fouls for themselves. So they'll play it straight up and take the hits. The hits will come, so take those hits and, just don't give it an opportunity to get that tech foul.
So it's been fun to watch for us, Zoe, but probably not so fun if you're sitting in the Flyers camp at the moment. What does Cheryl Chambers need to do to get them back into this? Because this margin is now 21 points.
Yeah, it's time to take some risks. It's time to, try and trap some things, deflect some things. They are scoring pretty easily and pretty well. We're seeing most times down the floor, they are getting a score. It's the defensive end that needs to change for them. So they are going to have to, they can't allow Sydney just this freedom and this space to be able to just find and do as they please. They're going to have to be disruptive. Get up and trap, get up in and get hands in, look to switch some things. It may blow the lead out, but it may just bring it back.
Kaylee George is heading to the line and did pretty well. The shot clock was ticking down. course, one of their big recruits, the league MVP, Kayla George.
And she is peaking this season right at the right time, leading right. She's going to lead these Flames and do everything she can into finals. And while they're playing like this, everybody needs to watch out for them.
That's probably the most exciting part about this Sydney roster is they made several changes in the off-season. It didn't look like it was gelling. We knew it was going to take time. We knew they had a couple of players out as well on some injury layoffs, but it seems to be really clicking for them at the right time of the year.
Absolutely, and I said it in one of the other games. Don't discount the impact that a WNBA season and a WNBA championship would have had on Kayla George as well. She basically came straight back into this season with not a lot of rest time. So, being able to find her feet again and get back into the league. And like I said, she's peaking right at the right time, and so will the rest of her team.
21 points the difference. The Flyers need to come up with something. Flames are riding high and all sorts of confidence at the moment. That shot from George is offline, but Richards with the O board. To Bradley to Magin. Shot clock's ticking down. Tries to feed George, but some good defense thrown by the Flyers, but his last touch, so it will remain a Flames ball.
It was a good look in the right feed, probably just more like an overhead or a hook pass to try and get that through. Really hard for the bigs to try and dive on the rim and catch bounce passes.
Kayla George over her head.
See, over her head. Just hook passes over her head.
Unbelievable plays. Mitchell responds at the other end. But this is what they need to stop. A let off from Bradley. Mitchell to Jackson, back to Mitchell. Inside to Cole. It's Bradley to contend with.
And we've seen a lot of teams use this tactic against the Flames, looking to post up a shorter Bradley in the paint. I think it's a good tactic for a Southside to use. Probably just need to move the ball a little bit more beforehand to shift the rest of the defense.
Another pretty move from Sydney. This time, Shanice Swain getting in on the act and feeding Kayla George.
It'd be great to be a Kayla George teammate.
Wouldn't it just? We can only dream. We're heading to a timeout, and this timeout is brought to you by Booty Fighting Poverty. Make yourself comfortable with Booty. Discover their collection of everyday basics and underwear, including period and leak-proof styles, all crafted in sustainable bamboo viscose. So all part of the WNBL's Fighting Period Poverty round. So it's now danger signs for Southside. They've got to make something happen, and they've got to make it happen quick.
Yeah, as I mentioned before, it's time to take some risks. Like I said, it could further the lead for Sydney if it goes wrong. That's what a risk is. But it could just bring it back and make a game of this. If they can get it to sort of between 10 and 15 by three-quarter time, there may be a chance for them. But if it continues like this, if they continue just doing the same sort of thing, there's going to be no impact made on this score. So it's time to get up and really try and disrupt Sydney, take them out of their offense, take them out of their flow. Like I said, offensively, they're scoring pretty freely. I don't think that's where their massive problem is. It's definitely at the defensive end.
3 players Sydney have in double digits. Nicholson on 15, Kayla George on 15 points, Edie Richards on 14, and Tess Magin's on 9, and Bradley's on 8. So certainly it's the spread of contributors has been so deadly for them.
On the other side, Jackson has 16, but not much coming with her. It's by now you need to have like 2 or maybe 3 in double figures.
Sadie's Russell adding a couple to her tally. She's up to 5 now. I'd love for her to get involved a little more. Bradley loses her feet, but did she get the foul? Yes, she did.
Southside Flyers with a foul. Number 9, Maddie Lunchey, your second.
Both these sides coming into tonight's clash on 3-game winning streaks. Both in really good form. Second versus fourth. And Southside winning their last encounter by 6 points, but it's been some turnaround from the Flames. It's all click for them tonight. Still got a quarter and a half to go. A little fumble, but they get out of trouble. Richards for Shanice Swain. Comes up short. Rochi, the fast break, but getting back and defending is Swain.
I think the introduction to Poch into the lineup to counter Dee Richards, they're both long, they're both athletic, so it's going to be harder for Richards to take her off the bounce the way she has been the Southside bigs. So I think that's a good move from Southside.
Rochi goes for 3. It's no good. She'll get it back. Gives it to Beck Cole. He's driving strongly and gets the finish. Well done. Bradley to Swain. Looking for Kayla George, who steps around Russell. Outstanding stuff.
It's beautiful footwork. You often see a lot of players travel on that sort of move, the jump stop, up fake and step through, but that footwork was just impressive.
Russell at the other end, a couple of bites at it, no good. Poch gives it to Cole. Shot clock ticking down, need to manufacture something. Russell puts a shot up and makes it count. 19 points, the difference. Sydney still in control. Bradley finds some room. It's no good. Comes down to Poch. Finds her way through.
Just thought she'd show Kayla George the exact move she made at the other end. But like I mentioned before, the introduction of Poch, I think, is a good one. I think she can be a real difference in helping peg this lead back and make a game of this.
Need to keep the pressure on at this end. And that is a good start. Poch to Russell. Needs to get it done and does, and heading to the line.
He's going to count for Jasmine Dickey.
It's Dickey, in fact.
Playing for the 15, Kayla George, who's second.
That'll lift the spirits of the Flyers. Important 4 minutes to go in this third quarter.
Really important off this free throw here that the Flyers really lock in and get this stop here. They're starting to shift the momentum towards their way, but if they allow the Flames to come down the other end and get a good look and score, then it's just going to put them right back to where they started. They need to start stringing these stops together. They've done a good job in the last 2 possessions. They need to be able to again, get the stop here to be able to start that momentum shift to them.
Cut the margin down to 14. Swain gets the contact. Let's take another look.
Nadia Potts with the foul in second. Tess Magin and Lara McSpadden.
Kayla George heads to the bench for a rest. So I think Flyers are hoping the call was going to go their way. Swain does find herself at the line in her club debut. Get a second opportunity through Richards. Off to Magin. Another opportunity, Richards. This time turned it over.
Yeah, but give it up for the hustle.
It'll be a Southside ball, but great hustle shown by Dee Richards, and she gets a warm applause from the home fans for her efforts.
Now go to work for her. Defense.
3 minutes to go on the third. Southside need a lift. 18 points at halftime. It's back to 16, but they need the points to continue to flow and shut them down at the other end. Rochi fires from the corner. It's no good, but great hustle shown. They get it back. Cole inside. Dickey can't get the finish. Under all sorts of pressure. Loses it. Swain with the hustle.
The foul is
gets the foul as well.
And she'll head back to the line with the Flyers in the bonus. So I think, again, Flyers did everything right, just didn't finish on that. I think Dickie may have made it a little too hard on herself on that catch, maybe just straight up and score it. But the Flames are just fighting. They are fighting for everything. They're fighting as if this game is the game that gets them into the grand final. And it's really impressive, and it's tough to chip away at a lead when a team has got that much effort and that much intensity.
1 from 2 from Shanice Swain, but you make a good point, Zoe. The intensity that Sydney has played from the opening tip-off tonight has been super impressive. They can barely do anything wrong.
No, and it's even when Southside start making their runs, they just cool heads, lock down defensively, you know, find their open players and get their scores. So they have not been rattled at all at any stage in this game.
Here's Nicholson for Sydney. Out to Madgen. Looking for Richards. Gives it back to Nicholson. Shot clock ticking down, so Nicholson had to put a shot up. It comes up short, but she gets the O board. Out to Shanice Swain. Wants to give it to Richards. Now to Madgen. They'll go again, the Flames. Madgen makes a move. In the corner. Swain wide open and drains a three.
What a comeback game. Just amazing. Like, to be able to come out, knock those down, disrupt defensively, come up with rebounds. I don't think you could script it any better.
8 points for Shanice Swain tonight. 2 3-pointers. We've got to go easy on her at the start. You know, just say, ease yourself in. You know, it's just great to see her out there. And she goes, no, hang on.
Yeah.
Let me give you some highlights.
Yeah, I don't think she liked that. I think she's, I'm ready to play.
Yeah. Nicholson, Poch got a hand in there. Now scrap for it. Great work from Richards. Fantastic hustle.
And the advantage of being first to the floor. Like, as soon as there's a loose ball, you see there, just diving on that loose ball. First to the floor will always have advantage in any type of situation like that, whether it be obviously getting it and securing it, or in any type of contest that there may be a foul called. So outstanding work. And again, it plays into the intensity that we were speaking about before that the Flames have shown from the tip.
$14 points tonight for DD Richards and 9 rebounds. We're on double-double watch. Oh from 2.
It's probably been the one area they haven't dominated in is the free throw percentage, just shooting at 57% and 4 of 7. So, you know, that's probably, you want that up above 80% if you can. Obviously 100% is ideal, but you know, you allow for 80%. So that's probably the one area of their game that they'd probably look at the end of this and think, could have done better there.
Nicholson heads to the bench for a rest. 15 points for her. Really set them up in that first half too. And a turnover here to the Flyers. It's not what they needed, to say the least. Margins back out to 19. Sydney only increased their lead. Here's McSpadden onto the floor. Gives it to Tess Madgen. Working on Mitchell, finds her way through, just doesn't find the finish. To Dickey, to Poch. They look inside and they've turned it over. Into the final minute here of the third quarter. Shanice Swain stepped out of court.
Stepped out of bounds, possession to the Flyers, back in for the Flyers, number 21, Mercedes Russell.
whilst it's a turnover, it's only the Flames' 5th turnover for the game. So, you know, they have done a great job of taking care of the ball. Obviously, shooting at a good percentage helps, but, you know, it really stops Southside's ability to run and go and get easy points and tick that scoreboard over.
Offensive foul called. Lauren Jackson. That battle against Dee Richards has been good to watch tonight. Richards will be happy to get one back.
It really has, and it's you know, it's what Southside need to do, try and pound the ball inside and get those higher percentage shots. But there needs to also then be movement off the ball.
Technical foul. It's been called here. Looks like it's come from the bench.
Test Magnet at the line.
Cheryl Chambers, I think it. Test Magin's at the line. Magin, final 20 seconds of the third. Another strong quarter from the Flames. Can they cap it off? Magin's 3-point attempt comes up short. Southside ball.
Flyers got lucky on that. Tess Magin doesn't miss many of those.
Back down the other end, and Cole knocks it down. And that will be the end of the third quarter. Three-quarter time here at the Quaycentre. And it is the Sydney Flames in control, 75-58 as we turn from home. It has been a performance from the top shelf from the Flames, from the opening tip-off. Zoe Kari to take a look at some of the highlights so far.
Yeah, we've said it all game. Just the way that the Flames have moved the ball, found open players, got high percentage shots, and as a result are shooting at a wonderful percentage. So that's going to continue unless Southside can start to be a little more disruptive. They're allowing the Flames to just be way too comfortable. So they've got to get up, got to be disruptive, try some new things, and see if they can peg that back. But on the other side, like I said earlier, the Flyers their scoring has been pretty good. You know, they're doing a good job. They're finding their scores. They're getting the ball inside. They're hitting their threes, but it's just not at the same rate as the Flames. So they do need to just lock down defensively, take care of that end. And the Flames, well, they're going to want to finish this game off and this quarter off in the same sort of fashion, and look to try and again get some. Probably towards the end of this quarter, try and pay some rent to some of the younger athletes that haven't seen so much court time, because I know it's one of the things for players that play big minutes. You do want to try and get your team into a position where those players that turn up to training every day and work hard every day, but don't see as much court time. You really want to get your team into a position where they can get some game time.
Depth certainly is important in the run home to the finals. The good news for Southside is they won the quarter, they just won it by a point. So 18 points at halftime for Sydney, and their lead is now 17. So a big last quarter to come. But the way Sydney are playing, they're just in fine form at the moment. And Dee Richards has had a fantastic game, 14 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists as well. So here we go, last quarter underway. And immediately we see some contact. Poch goes to the floor. So Sydney looking to secure a top 4 spot. Southside want to finish top 2, but really many positions in that top 4 or 5 are still up for grabs in the last few rounds.
I think that's going to come down to the last round, which is really exciting. So that's exactly what you want in a league. You want to be able to have it go right to the edge and see in that last game, wins and losses, a game finishes, you've got to find the result of another game, all those sort of things.
Cole pulls up for 2. Get us underway in the last 15. Still manageable, as we know. Southside can shoot. Clark pulls the trigger on the 3. It's no good. Cole brings it down. But as we've kept saying, Flames have just been that little bit better. Shooting at a better rate. Cole adds a couple more. It's a good start.
Yeah, if they can lock in here and get
they need
2 or 3 stops in a row, that's going to make all the difference.
George offline. They get it back through Clark. Back to George, to Bradley. Swinging across in the corner for Clark, who makes a move. Comes up short, but Richards again with another rebound. Outstanding. Nicholson to Bradley. They go again. Pulls up for 2. It's offline.
Southside got let off the hook on that one. 2 offensive boards in a possession when you're trying to claw back a deficit. You've got to keep it to one shot per possession, and then that allows you to look to run.
Shot from the corner from Mitchell, off target. An opportunity gone begging. George on the baseline trying to keep it alive, and it'll be Southside ball.
Returning to the Flames, number 6, Jimmy Swain for Emma Clark.
Just keeping it alive there, Kayla George, but...
And the Flames have to now look to get back to what they were doing well and what was working for them. Get back to that execution, get back to moving the ball, drawing 2 defenders, finding the open player so they can stick their open shots.
Just have to make the moments count. Southside, Poch just comes up short. Richards pulls it in. And then down the other end. Contact.
So smart to be able to draw that foul there. Use the use of her body. You see how she turns her out a little bit and then looks to attack her through the chest. That's unguardable. So Poch did everything she could. But, I mean, other than being down the floor a little bit quicker, she didn't really have a hope of stopping that layup.
What a game it's been from DD Richards. I've loved her intent. Not only is she making a mark on the scoreboard, 2 from 2, takes a tally to 16, 11 rebounds, 4 assists. But she has played like a woman possessed tonight. $15 points the difference as Jackson makes a move. Gets the foul.
Fouls on DD Richards.
That'll be her 3rd foul, and Southside should probably look to try and go at her at the next possession, try and pick up her 4th and put the pressure on Coach Guy Malloy as to whether he leaves her out there or has to bring her out. She's been such a big part of them, both offensive and defensively, but particularly on creating extra possessions for Sydney with offensive rebounds. So if they can get her out of the game, even if it's for a few minutes, that's when they can look to try and swoop in and bring this lead back.
That's what you said before. They need to find a way to disrupt Sydney. They haven't been able to do that. So certainly one way of doing it. Nicholson gets another opportunity. Southside need a defensive lift. Nicholson finds her way through, but
Foul before the shot.
it is a foul.
Fouls on Beck Cole.
Going on Beck Cole.
Returning for the Flyers, Jasmine Dickey and Maddie Rachi.
LJ heads to the bench. Swain, beautiful move. Picked up right where she's left off.
Just that pace, just be able to go from standing start to just lightning quick and turn the corner. Just outstanding.
Southside under pressure. Dickey gets away out of trouble.
Jasmine Dickey.
And just beats the shot clock. So I think it's Mercedes Russell who might be heading to the bench, just a little sore off the play. Try and get another look.
Back in for the Flyers, number 11, Carly Ernst.
Flames ball, 14 points the difference.
Let's go.
Here's Kayla George. Another great game from her tonight. So Nicholson also had a great game. Hard to find a Sydney player who's played a bad one. George is in the corner. Sweeping past to Nicholson, who works the baseline. Time's run out, but gets the foul.
That pass from Kayla George was just elite. You saw how it drew out the defense and it put Potch out of position because she thought she could have a go at it and nearly got a fingertip to it, but it was just out of reach. Put her out of position as the second line of defense. So as Nicholson looked to attack, all she could do was foul.
Two from two, 17 points now for Nicholson and 5 assists as well. It's really been a great team performance. You touched on it before. Zoe, 24 assists.
Yeah, that's massive for the end of the game. We've still got 6 minutes to go, so huge effort from the Flames. But again, I think that also lends into Southside not being as disruptive as they should be. That's when you can find players and build your assist category.
6 players all with multiple assists as well for Sydney. Ernst comes into the action, gives it off to Dickey. It's a tough finish. Staying in touch here, the Flyers. Need it all to go their way at the moment. It's all about defense. Swain out to Bradley, now to George. Decides to just go herself. Off the rim. Potch with a rebound. Can they make something happen here, Southside? Mitchell knows how to get it done. Just making things interesting as we head to a timeout with 5 minutes 19 on the clock as we get another look at that three-pointer from Mitchell to give them a spark. And this timeout is brought to you by a local Ford dealer, proudly supporting community basketball in Australia. Thanks, as always, to Ford. Well, so Kat, I mean, it does make things interesting.
It does. It's certainly not panic stations yet, but it is something to be mindful of. The Flames have gone away from what's working. They're not cutting as hard as they have been. They're not screening as hard as they have been and separating out of those screens as quickly as they were in the first 3 quarters. They just need to get back to that. And that will then find their open players and their open shots. And as we know, they'll be able to then shoot the ball. But at the moment, they're getting so deep into their shot clock because they're almost running offense for offense sake rather than running offense to score. So every action needs to be a scoring threat. Every person coming off needs to be a threat. Anyone screening, anyone cutting, all that sort of stuff, which we saw in droves in the first 3 quarters. So if they can get back to that after a little bit of a break and a touch point with Coach Guy Malloy, they'll be able to hold on to this. But Southside have now started to find their form offensively, so they've now got to make sure they take care of that at the other end.
It's the closest they've been since quarter time. 11 points, it was the difference at quarter time. George, though, adding a couple more. This is steadier.
They've worked the ball, found themselves an uncontested shot. When their shots are uncontested, I'd love to see the stat on their percentage of uncontested shots versus contested. So if they can get back to that regularly, they'll put this lead back out.
Rocci fighting hard. Dickey as well with an opportunity, but couldn't make a count down the other end. Richards swings it across to George. Oh, what about the pass to Nicholson?
Man, with the pass. Give it up for the dunk.
It's just too good.
It is. The pass was outstanding. Again, the cut had intent. Look how quick she goes from slow to fast on this as she turns the corner. And then the weak side stays spaced, so they don't run into her space. She's able to create and draw the foul. Again, that's the offense we saw in the first 3 quarters. We didn't see it in the first 5 minutes of this quarter, of the fourth quarter, but after that touch point with Coach Guy Malloy, he's steadied the ship and got them back on track.
Two from two from Nicholson. Hasn't missed at the line tonight. 4 attempts. All of a sudden, that percentage we thought might be a weakness. The free throw line has increased for the Flames. Dickey goes to ground and gets the foul.
Flames foul number 9, Tess Magic. Her first. In for the Flyers, number 13.
I think there might have been a bit of a sigh of relief that was on Magin and not on Richards, because that would have been her fourth. And yeah, I think the Flyers maybe missed a little bit of an opportunity to try and get her out of the game a little bit earlier and draw her fourth and then hopefully her fifth after that. That may be something they look at in the last 4 minutes. But, you know, Richards out of the game makes a big difference to this Flames lineup.
Jump ball, great hustle.
Jump ball, the arrow goes with the Flyers.
And the Flyers will come up with it. 2 pretty experienced heads going head to head. Less than 4 minutes to go now. Flames in the box seat, lead by 15. They're led by 11 at quarter time, 18 at half time, 17 at 3/4 time. Flyers have made a bit of a run as the shot clock runs out.
Shot clock violation. Who's ball?
Flames have controlled this one and look to break their new season high as well. 87 points is their previous best. It's a scary proposition for the other teams in the competition if the Flames continue on this trajectory.
Ideal was right on that offensive set there. Just a slight fumble on the catch, but again, the intent with the cut, the intent with the screen was what opened that up. Take away the fumble, and that's probably 2 points.
Maddie Rocci, shooting 2.
Maddie Rocci's down at the line for a couple of free throws. Just 3 points for her tonight. 9 rebounds though.
It's one of the real
more to a tally.
Sorry, one of the real strengths for Maddie Rocci is the way she rebounds as a guard. She's so strong and she's able to get inside and come up with rebounds that you probably don't expect she's going to get.
George swings it across to Magin, pulls the trigger, gets it done. It's a fourth. What a wonderful shooting display we've seen tonight. Cole's missing at one end. Bradley takes it down the floor. It's Maddie Rocci to contend with, gives it off to Richards. Now a chance for Nicholson. She's lost it. She gets the foul call.
Picks up that foul for the Flyers. Her second.
this could be a slightly long last 2 minutes 50 here with both teams in the bonus. So every foul, obviously, the teams will go to the line for 2. So again, this could be a bit of a make or break. If Flames keep going to the line and aren't able to capitalise, that could be an opportunity for the Flyers. But Lauren Nicholson is not the one to foul.
Yeah, you wouldn't think that would be plan A. 2 from 2, still hasn't missed. 6 out of 6. Tonight, at the line for Lauren Nicholson.
Also in for the Flyers, number 4, Louise Brown.
So what a shooting performance. Kayla George approaching 20 points. Lauren Nicholson just ticked over 20 points. Richards on 16. Madgen on 13. Swain in double figures in her club debut. Potch for 3 is no good. Bradley cleans it up. We're back out to an 18-point margin. Flyers got 2 within. 11 is George. Finishes off a wonderful team play.
It's beautiful, coming off the on-ball screen, spacing out and taking her time, and then a quick separation again from Kayla George. Beautiful basketball.
Louise Brown.
Louise Brown into the action for the Flyers.
Timeout here at the Quaycentre.
Gets a couple of points as we're heading to another timeout. Just over 2 minutes on the clock. Flames well in control, 92-74. How much confidence do you think they'll get out of not just the win, but the way that they've played tonight?
It's huge. Just knowing that, you know, it's good to win some grind-out games when you win ugly and know that you can then win those sort of games. But to be able to execute like this, to be able to defend like this, to be able to, you know, shoot like this, find open shooters, have, you know, players have impact on the game across the board, not just 1 or 2, is massive leading into finals, because now they know they can call on anybody rather than just, you know, they become harder to scout because everybody has to be detailed on the scout sheet now. So they put themselves in a really good position. They also put themselves in a position where teams are going to come gunning for them. There's no chance they're going to fly under the radar or anything like that. So it's a really good pressure to be able to have, but a really, really exciting Sydney team. I can't wait to see what sort of noise they can make in the final series.
Absolutely. As we keep mentioning, it's just going to be a fantastic run towards the final. It's been a great season. Crowds are up. We've seen some really quality imports to go along with our homegrown stars. It's fantastic competition hitting its peak at the moment. Final 2 minutes here. And the three-pointers continue to drop. Paige Bradley adding another, her 3rd. And Ernst down the other end says, I'll have a little bit of that too.
And it's great to see Isla Jofferman's getting some minutes as well, the current under-19 Asia MVP, who has just been a rising star on the junior landscape. So having her step onto the floor and be able to get some minutes in the WNBL is going to be massive for her. Unfortunately, we'll lose her to college eventually, but getting to see her in this league, it won't be the last time. We'll definitely see her once her college career is finished.
Just 18 years of age out of Coffs Harbour. Can't wait to see what the future has in store for her. Where does this leave the Flyers? I mean, they haven't played badly. It's just the Flames have played that much better.
Yeah, it's sometimes you do have those games though where you come up against a team where, you know, there was just no chance you were going to have of winning. But that's what teams. It's better to figure this out now than to figure this out in finals or in a game that you need to go into finals. So they'll go back to the training court, they'll go back to their film, have a look at this, take the lessons out of it, and then they've got to move on, because with this league, with the way that it is and how intense it is at coming towards the end of it, you can't dwell on things for too long. So they'll take the lessons, they'll move on, and figure out their ways in game as a team to be able to, I guess, peg these things back or not allow teams to blow it out when they're having incredible shooting nights.
Yeah, certainly not panic stations for them by any stretch, but certainly a few things to look at, because the way that Sydney have played tonight, they're playing like a team that's in finals.
Yeah, definitely. And for Southside, seeing Dallas Lockridge on the floor as well, getting some playing time too after recovering from an ACL last year. You know, she's, again, another young talent, another really great prospect for the future. So great to see her starting to get some minutes.
So both teams playing a few of their bench players at the moment as we tick into the final minute here at the Quaycentre. A red-hot game of basketball from the opening tip-off. We've seen an absolute masterclass tonight, and it continues as Hurst knocks down a triple.
It's a Vic Country Junior right there. Elise Hurst from Bendigo. Again, another great young prospect, and great to see him on the floor and having an impact, not being afraid to step up in big moments.
Must be something in the water tonight. Everyone's just knocking them down from long range. How good.
Count it down. 8, 7.
Seconds tick down. A chance for Jaffa Menz, and gets the basket. And that is the end of an exceptional game of WNBL hoops. The Flames come out on top, 102-81. A sensational performance from a team that is hunting a place in the postseason. Zoe Carr, what a wonderful game of basketball.
Oh, and I'm, like we said at the start, I'm a little bit exhausted after watching that. But, you know, normally 81 points is likely going to win you a game. But when a team's putting 102 on the board, that's always going to be difficult. So Southside, like I mentioned before, they'll go back to their training, back to their film, and figure out ways to adjust their defense to not allow any other team to have 102 on them again. But Sydney just came ready to play. The way they executed, the way they locked down defensively, the way they stuck open shots, like that was finals basketball from them, and it was exciting to watch. So, yeah, like I mentioned before, it'll be really exciting to see what they can bring and what sort of noise they can make come finals time.
Indeed, hard to find a player of the match for Sydney, but let's take a look at Dee Dee Richards because set the tone early, finished with 18 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists. What did you like most about her performance tonight?
I mean, statistically, you have a look at that, and that is an amazing game. And the way she approached trying to break down Southside's bigs by taking them off the bounce and using her speed and athleticism. But one of the things I was most impressed with her from tonight's game was her defense. The way she deflected, the way she got into lanes, the way she, put her body on the line against bigger and stronger post players. She was relentless, and that went a long way to securing this win for the Flames.
So let's take a look at some of the many, many, many highlights from tonight's game. Zoe, if you're Sydney, what's the biggest positive? Is it you won a top 4 battle, you put 102 points on the board, Shanice Swain returned and showed just how awesome she is after a long injury layoff. You had 6 players in double digits. What's the biggest positive?
Yes. all of those. Yeah. They are all, I mean, look, to be honest, it's a team game. I think what they showed tonight is just how many weapons they have across the board, especially now with Shanice Swain coming off the bench for them. That adds a scoring punch for them off the bench. So I think the thing you would be most impressed with and most pleased with is the fact that they were able to do this as a team. So now they, like I mentioned before, they become harder to scout, harder to guard. And if someone's having a bad night come finals time, somebody else is able to step up. So, yeah, I think that's probably the biggest positive for them tonight.
Some key stats at full time. Michaela George and Lauren Nicholson combining for 42 points. Outstanding. Richards, as we mentioned, on 18, and the rebounds as well with 12. And as for the Flyers, Lauren Jackson, she's been in great form recently for them, really starting to get that points tally out.
Yeah, definitely. And I think they're doing a good job of finding her too where she wants the ball. But as we mentioned, you know, Cole came into the game and from a scoring perspective and started to add, but it was probably a little too late. That needed to be a little bit more effective a bit earlier to help take some of the pressure off of her, but also open her up more too. So that 17 could potentially become 25 or 30.
So a bit to take out for Southside. Didn't play badly by any means. As we take a look, this is the live ladder. So this is just how important it was. Coming into tonight, Southside were in second position. Sydney were in fourth. Southside dropped to third. Sydney, importantly, just create that little bit of a gap in the top four.
Yeah, the only thing that the Perth Lynx have at the moment is a game in hand, though. So it's not as dire straits for them if they were on equal games played or, worse, played more games. But Flames are hitting their straps. Perth are still trying to find their way while McDonald is out, and hopefully they'll be able to get her back into the lineup sooner rather than later, because it's been harder for them to put the points on the board. They've been a high-scoring team. So Sydney need to use this time to make sure they get as many wins as possible whilst McDonald's off the floor to be able to try and increase that gap and cement their place in the top four.
So a happy Flames team indeed as we take a look at some of the games to come, and a reminder that the Townsville and Southside game on Saturday night has been postponed due to a cyclone threat up there in far north Queensland. Certainly sending our best wishes and thoughts to our friends up north for that one. So we'll keep you posted on the WNBL website on that match. But the action continues in round 13, a couple of rounds to go before finals. What game are you most looking forward to out of that?
Southside Perth. That's the one that I think's got the biggest impact on the finals finish. So yeah, that's going to be a good game and something that's going to, again, have a real impact on who finishes where leading into the final run home.
So that's all we have tonight on this doubleheader of Cygnett WNBL. A fantastic game of basketball we've just witnessed. Sydney getting the job done over Southside by 21 points. On behalf of myself, Jess Webster, Zoe Carr, and our entire production team behind the scenes, we hope you have enjoyed a brilliant game of basketball, and we'll see you again real soon. Tonight, Sydney by 21.